Okay, so we're talking assisted living, which is a show I have not talked about in quite a while. Basically, whenever I talk with fans about House of Pain, assisted living sometimes comes into the conversation. It's the fact that, well, House of Pain seems to be thriving this season due to the fact that we have Jasmine and Janine back for a number of episodes, way more than I think any of us expected. And I'm not talking about the people who wanted Jasmine and Janine to be back every single week. But no, I think Jasmine has only been absent for one episode this entire season so far. Just one episode. Janine, she showed up in episode one. She was gone for several episodes, but she's been in what, two or three more episodes after the premiere, and that's great. And now we have this upcoming episode where we know that Jasmine's going to be in it because she's going to be working with Ella to hopefully start a Bible study on her college campus. So when talking about assisted living, a lot of fans that I've been speaking with have said the same thing. Man, one of the things that could really turn this show around. Now, remember, when it comes to me personally, I don't have a problem with the show. I think that the show truly got a lot better once season 2 started and the new residents of the assisted living facility were added to the cast. So me personally, I had no problem with the show. But in terms of a way to hopefully boost ratings and bring in the Meet the Browns fan base, a lot of fans have said the same thing. Man, they need to get some of the original characters from Meet the Browns to come back into assisted living for the sake of nostalgia, to get the ratings up and kind of bridge the shows, connect them a bit more. I mean, Will and Sasha worked at the hospital, in the same area as the boarding house. But that's another thing. We don't know the proximity of, Brown's boarding house from Meet the Browns and the assisted living facility, given the fact that he put in money into renovating the facility in order to hopefully, make some money back. Maybe he gave up the boarding house business, and as a result, the tenants aren't living there anymore. So it wouldn't be impossible to bring some of the original cast back, but honestly, look, I would love to see Will and Sasha, even if it's only for like one or two episodes. Maybe they're just visiting the area or something. They heard about, Brown and Cora's, new business, and as a result, they wanted to check in to see how their old friends were doing. Um, the Colonel and Miss Edna, I wonder how they're doing. They're still around. I forgot the character's name, but the older woman who was kind of like Miss Anastasia, the old white woman with red hair who was like a Hollywood Scarlet back in her day. I wonder if her and Miss Anastasia possibly, had somewhat of a rivalry going on, where maybe you can talk about old Hollywood in terms of how it was unfair for, black actors and actresses usually playing second fiddle to their white counterparts. Maybe Miss Anastasia holds a grudge because, I forgot the character from Meet the Brown's name, but, maybe there were a number of roles that she wanted to get, but, being black, she wasn't able to, obtain those roles. And when it comes to, let's say, the likes of Joaquin, we don't know what kind of, young man he grew up to be. Maybe he had a couple of run-ins with the law for whatever reason, and as a result, Reginald could have been like the judge on the bench that either sentenced him or something like that. So there could be some connections there, in between the older characters and the ones that we know now. But I don't think I don't want to say it's not likely. I mean, remember, Demetria has been working on a lot of projects outside of House of Pain. Hence why Janine was, gone for like over 2 seasons, but now she's back. So even though a lot of the cast could be working on other things, I'm talking about the original Meet the Browns cast, that doesn't mean they can't come back for a couple of episodes in order to, just show the audience, hey, we're still here in Atlanta. And, like I said, bridge the gaps. Like, for example, early on, in season 1, it was mentioned how Korra used to work as a teacher and whatnot. So I think the possibilities are still there, but to my knowledge, there has been no word of House of Pain season 13, Assisted Living season 5. So I am not, 100% certain that there will even be new seasons after the current shows or the current seasons of the shows are over with. But yeah, I feel like if there was a time to bring in the old cast, it would be now. I mean, you could argue, what about a House of Pain and Assisted Living crossover? I think that the show would do better to go back to the Meet the Browns characters just to kind of establish the lore, because the attitude of a lot of fans, and I can sympathize, why would I bother watching Assisted Living when Meet the Brown plays on BET all the time? And I get that. I mean, it's like, why indulge in a new restaurant when your old favorite is still in town and you could just go there to get what you want, as opposed to trying something you feel isn't on par or of being the same quality. But for me personally, I do like Assisted Living. I just, don't review it because my numbers were low on the content, kind of like their ratings on the network. But what can you do? So, with that being said, if there were any older characters from the Meet the Brown series that you would want on Assisted Living, who would you want it to be and why? Also, keep in mind, the boarding house wasn't a retirement facility, but some of the characters, like I mentioned before, Colonel and Miss Edna, perhaps they're at the age where they will have to be in a living facility, and you can imagine if they moved in, how crazy that would be. But like I said, let's talk about it in the comment section below. And also, before I end the video, I also thought about it. I talked about Will and Sasha, being at the hospital and whatnot. This is one of the reasons why Assisted Living is kind of crippled. If there were more set pieces, you could have a situation where one of the characters on Assisted Living has to go to the hospital. And going to the hospital, you see if Will and Sasha are still working there, what their positions are. And that could actually establish more lore. I mean, heck, even though Korra is no longer a teacher, let's say if we got to see Philip and, what is her name? It's not Sasha. Crap. Philip and I want to kick myself. Taylor Buck is the name of the actress. Sandra. If Philip and Sandra, if we got to see them in school, it could have been, one of those things where, let's say if Korra dropped them off at school or something one day, and it's like, oh, hey, Miss Korra, and it's like, yeah, even though Korra, is no longer a teacher, maybe it was the same school that she used to work at. So I feel like that's Assisted Living's fault, because they don't really show new set pieces, and as a result, it kind of makes it difficult to showcase some of these older characters. But that's just me. Now, that's all I have. Like and subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next one.